From the Oklahoma newsroom, this is a Thunder update. I'm Jenny Carlson here with Thunder beat writer Maddie Lee. Maddie, the Thunder coming off actually in the middle of a little bit of a layoff after back-to-back home games to end last week, and a not very pretty performance against Denver, which maybe we should have expected after the quick succession they had those games. That was the last of 3 over 4 days. But defense, they say they're a good defensive team, but did Denver really kind of expose them there?
They did. I mean, you look at the Thunder, their best defensive rating in the league, and that's what they really need to rely on. But at times, they were looking a little shaky against Denver, and when their shots weren't falling, what they need to do is rely on that defense. They've said it time and time again. They're a great defensive team. That's how they're going to win games. They need to rely on that. And instead, you see at the end of the game, again, start to panic a little and start to throw up threes that just aren't good looks. And we're going to have games when the Thunder can't make shots. We've seen that again and again. And Denver was another night where when they were back up to shooting 30% from the field, you're like, oh, good, that's an improvement, which is not a place where you want to be. And so when they're in those situations, they need to do what Billy Donovan mentioned in his post-game press conference, which is how they shorten that lead, which is, as he said, hit singles. So you keep the good defensive efforts and just try to chip away one time instead of looking for that big explosive three-point shot.
Well, and to borrow his baseball analogy, they're trying to hit home runs with some of those three-point shots. And some guys that maybe shouldn't be shooting as many threes, maybe Russell Westbrook at the top of that list, there was definitely a sense of some shots that were taken maybe weren't the best looks. At least that's how I sort of processed what was being said post-game after that Denver game.
No, absolutely. I mean, Russell is 1 of 12 from 3 after that game. You don't want him taking that many three-pointers. And he stayed after and did his own post-game shooting session by himself. But you have seen games when Russell Westbrook did take over the game, but that's not how he's going to be able to do it. And he has so many pieces around him. I mean, he has even other playmakers like Paul George and Dennis Schroeder around him who can carry some of that load. And so the way that the Thunder is going to win is not by him just taking it upon himself to take a bunch of threes. It's the ways that they are chipping away at that lead, which is good ball movement, getting good shots, even if they're not falling, sticking with that.
Well, we'll see if they can do it on Wednesday night, because they'll be back out there against, who is it? It's not the Kings. I'm looking at the wrong thing. The Cavaliers, maybe close to the Kings in that ballpark. But, I mean, that's a team that they should beat. Is that one of those games that, they need to reestablish who they are?
Absolutely. And like we started off talking about defense, that's a team where they can really buckle down, get their defense rolling again, and lean on that in order to pull out a win. Even though the last time that they faced the Cavs, it wasn't, they got it done, but it wasn't pretty. So now that they have Russell Westbrook back and are maybe able to have had a couple games with him, able to move back into a rhythm with him, we'll see if that ends with a prettier result.
All right, Cavaliers on Wednesday, then it's Atlanta on Friday, a couple teams that they can shoot it, but maybe not quite as well as some other teams around the league. We'll see if the Thunder can get back into that rhythm that they want defensively instead of needing to try to play big catch-up at the end of those games. Both those at the peak, by the way. So be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoman.